music I listen to at home, well, some of it you would, because you know it's some of what you're hearing. Only they do it so much better. How many of you heard Raleigh, Washington this morning? Sometimes it takes a long time. You know, change does take time. It really does, and there are a lot of people in the world that aren't really willing to change, willing to face the truth. Prejudice, bigotry. I suppose I relate to a lot of the pain and the struggle because in my own family there was, you know, a lot of divorces. We lived on welfare in the middle of central Wisconsin in the 50s and 60s when it was not cool, not the norm. You know, we weren't what you would call white trash as such. And we didn't, you know, we weren't a bunch of no-account slobs. We worked, we did what we could to live. But my dad went through a series of operations and we lost everything. A partner in business ran off with all the money in the till. Some bad checks got written. I don't know whether my parents knew that they were writing bad checks or not. And a lot of things went down in my family. It got really cold up there in the wintertime, still does. And in my own life, I started to recognize from that time, you know, just what it's like to be the outcast. You eating USDA peanut butter, potato soup, man. Potatoes were cheap in that time, man. I got so sick of eating potatoes. And it was just, it was a weird time. But I look back at all that stuff that went down, divorces that took place, rejection from all of our relatives except one uncle and aunt. You know, wearing clothes from St. Vincent de Paul when it wasn't the thing to do. Wearing my brother's shirts, he was a bit older than I was. Being so cold at night, we'd have a couple of quilts on the bed, sleep with all our clothes on. Weird thing, man, really insecure. I went to bed till I was, I think, 15 or something. 15 and a half. The day my brother went off to Army, my sister got married to get out of the house to escape. It was just, you know, the insecure fat kid, the kid that nobody cared about, it seemed. My parents split up and everything was over with, you know. But the day he left, the day my brother left, I guess maybe I was the man of the house. It snapped, something happened. Woke up dry. Never could figure it out, it just sort of happened. As time went on, I studied everything I could about drugs and then decided, why not? When I heard Hendrix say, there ain't no life nowhere, I mean, I understood that. Truest words I ever heard spoken to that point. And so, you know, to be rejected or to feel like an outcast was sort of natural for me. It got comfortable. There was a time when I maybe would have worn it like a chip on my shoulder, especially before I was a Christian. And I started to realize, well, hey, we're all sinners. Everybody sins. Nobody, I mean, you know, what are we trying to measure up to? What's the point? It's competition. It's wrong. And God really dealt with me so much about attitudes. And I still, playing soccer, you can ask the guys that were out there, I'm fierce, I'm committed. That's me. It's my heart. It's my personality as much as it's anything. But going through those days, you know, it was just either you survived or you didn't. And those difficult times are what bonded me to a lot of the truths that I know now. I find real root in God's Word. I mean, Jesus calls the Samaritan good. I mean, that was like telling the Jews you know, that's like going to telling the Jews that the Samaritans are cool is like going to a Ku Klux Klan meeting and talking about the good black man. And Jesus knew exactly what he was saying. Because it was always character and attitude of heart. And I always told people what I thought. For a while, I didn't make any sense whatsoever with it. So much drugs, man. Talking in terms of lyrics and at one point got involved in some blues bands and it was just there, you know, it was in my heart. And over time I put that away and then, you know, as time went on I started thinking, man, maybe I should do more of this. Maybe it's not self-indulgent, I don't know. Really prayed about it and thought about it. There's an awful lot of people out there that feel very rejected. If I were God, well, I'd send myself to the hot place. But you know, it's just, God is so merciful and gracious. You know, He doesn't give us what we deserve. But I've thought about that a lot of times, man. How about every white person, every bigot in America, wake up in Capri Green tomorrow morning with black skin? Just spend a couple of days there. Man. Don't feel bad if you're from the South. Most Klan members in this country right now, card-carrying Klan members, are in the state of Indiana. Do you know that during the Civil War there were race riots in the North? Irish immigrants and others burned down several square blocks in New York City, hung and killed every black man, woman, and child. A huge orphanage full of black kids got totally torched because those white people didn't want to go to war. They didn't want to sacrifice their lives. Not for the Union and not for emancipation. You ought to check into history sometime. Compare it to your own life. See where they meet. You learn to weep with those who weep. Learn to rejoice with those who rejoice too. But learn to weep with those who weep. Try real hard to think what it might feel like to be an American Indian, a Native American in this country. Ask yourself some questions. That's probably why I relate to the blues. A lot of reasons I relate to the blues. We'll do a couple more songs. We'll call it an evening on this.